This is my first YouTube class with you. So on first day, as per your demands, we are going to start the chapter from your book, Political Science and Economics. So from this chapter, we are going to start the topic, first chapter. The name of the chapter is Political Parties in India. So this is your first chapter. So here is your first topic is the concept of political party and its necessity. So you know that politics plays one of the important role in any country. So for this politics, in the maximum countries, one political party is there. In some countries, many political parties there. Some countries, one party is there. In some countries, two parties are there. So in our India, we know that many political parties are there. So this concept of political parties was developed in our world after 19th century. Around from 20th century, the concept of political party was developed. Before that, monarchy was there, but gradually people reject this system of monarchy, and they started to accept the policy of democracy. So this policy of democracy is very much important, where each and every people have got a chance to participate into the election system or into the government administrative system. So political parties are in our country, in our world, is divided into three categories. One party system. In many countries we have found where is one party system, and next is two party system, and last one is bi-party or multi-party system. So this one party system countries, generally we found this China, and China is one of the one party political systems is there. And countries like USA and England, where bi-party political system is there, means two party system is there. In China, one party system means there is only one political party, that is the Communist Party of China. This is the only political party of China. There is no other political party is there. And in the case of the bi-party, the countries like USA and US, that means the UK, that means in England or in America, they have bi-party system. Bi-party system means there is only two persons are there. Only two political parties are there. Two political parties are there, and another one is multi-party system. So multi-party system prevailed in the countries like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, where so many political parties are there. Okay, so this is called multi-party system. And then these countries, the countries which don't have the bi-party system or multi-party system, only the one-party system, is not considered as actually democratic countries. The countries with one-party political system, we can't say that this is a democratic country, because only one-party rules is there. And in the case of the bi-party system, we can call that this is a democratic country, because two political parties are there. And true democratic sense countries are multi-party system. Many countries have multi-party system. In our India, as we all know that India is the largest democracy in the world, with 130 crores people are participated in our election process, and many political parties are also there. Then this for establishment a political party, every thing has some characteristics or principles. In our life, as we follow some principles, okay, we respect our elders. This is one of the principles of our life. So like this, every political party should have some principles. Some principles are organizations, ideals and planning, aspirations for capturing power, regards for national interest. So these are the basic principles of any political party. One is organization, then principles, ideals and planning, then aspirations for capturing power, and then regards for national interest. Every party should have organization. Without organization, if only give lectures by sitting in a room or sitting in a press club, you don't get nothing. So every political party should have a proper organization. Local people should be involved with them. Otherwise, the basic motto of establishing a political party will get failed. And then ideals and planning. for everything in our life we need to make proper planning. So for establishing a political party or make it successful, there is proper planning is needed. If you don't raise the issues of the common people, then you never get success as a political party. And aspirations for capturing power. So while establishing a political party, you should have the motto that we will capture the power of country or in a particular region after some time. So if you don't have any aspirations that we will capture the power, we will want to come into the power, if you don't have such aspirations or inspirations, then you never get success as a political party. And regards for national interest, you should respect the national issues. Each and every political party should respect the national interest. Whatever is favor of the country, they should do, so that people should support them. Now our next topic, political parties of India. So as we all know that first political party of India was established in the year 1885. So this political party, as we all know, the name of the oldest political party of India is the Indian National Congress, which was established in the year 1885, which is first political party of India, which is established at the time of the Britishers. And after that, long time there is no new party came, and the second political party of India was the Muslim League, which was established in 1906. And third political party of India was Hindu Mahasabha, which is established in 1916. And then the fourth political party of India is Swaraj Party, which is established in the year 1922. So these are the political party histories of the political parties of India. The oldest party of our country is Indian National Congress, then second is Indian Muslim League, then third one is Hindu Mahasabha, and then fourth Swaraj Party. These are the four political parties of India which is established initially. After that, many political parties came into the existence. And then fifth party of India was the Communist Party of India, which is established in the year 1924. And then after that, no other parties, many other parties have come, but still don't get so much success into the political field. And then in this way, India gradually get independence. After independence, throughout the country, many political parties are established, which is started to serving the issues of the various peoples. Many religious political parties are also established at that time. And regional political parties. So first regional political parties of India was DMK in Tamil Nadu, which is full form is Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, which is the first regional political parties of India. And after that, many regional political parties of India was established. Now there is a question that why the regional parties are established? Because already there is national party. These regional political parties are gradually established because to serve the issues of the common people of that particular area. Like this, TMK was formed in the area of Tamil Nadu, which is only limited into the area of Tamil Nadu. So they generally solve the issue, raise the issues of the common people, various issues which is faced by the common people of Tamil Nadu. In Assam also, many regional political parties are there. One of the most important is Assam Gana Parishad. So these regional political parties are mainly established to safeguard the identity of the people of particular region, to save their religion, to save their culture, to save their language. On the basis of this, many political parties were established in India in a regional base. Many regional parties only the existence in a particular area. They don't have any existence outside their area. So the main reasons for the establishment of these regional parties are, you see that number one are the discriminatory view, attitude and principles of the all India national parties. These national parties can't give equal importance to the peoples of throughout the peoples of whole country. They don't give equal importance. So that's why regional political parties are developed. Now linguistics and religious diversity of the people living in the different parts of the country, the insecure feeling among the minorities, the union government policy of centralization of powers and to gain the sole rights over the invaluable various resources of the different states, the lack of the equal justification of union government towards all states, and then weakness of the religious regional leaders belonging to the national parties or the union government. So many reasons are there, as I told you. the discriminatory view of the central government is one of the main issue. Central government can't give equal importance to all parts of the people. So that's why the peoples, those who are feel deteriorated and those who are feel discriminated, they established their separate political parties. So on the basis of this, many regional political parties are established. Now the contributions of the regional parties to our Indian democracy. This regional parties' contribution is very much in Indian democracy. They help to strengthen the democracy. This is able to give equal justification to the peoples of that particular region, so that peoples can come, peoples don't feel insecurity, and they also get safeguard because of these regional political parties. These regional political parties also help the government to ask the government to give attention to the development of the particular area. And because of these regional parties, development process can be done equally throughout the country. If there is no regional party, then there may be very many discrimination will be there. So because of these regional parties, the power of the discrimination is very much less. All peoples of the country get equal importance before the central government. Okay? And next point is our discussion is the role of the opposition in democracy. So as we all know that in political system, many parties are there. For example, in biparty system or in multi-party system, some parties were in power and other parties were not in power. Then these parties, those who are not in power, are called opposition party. This party, those are in power, they are the ruling party, and those parties which are not in power, they are called opposition parties. So this opposition party also played a significant role into the development of the society or into the development of the country. This regional party, this opposition parties kept a strong eye, kept a visionary eye of the government, or the work of the government that is done by the government, if this is in the proper favor of the people. If some policy which is taken by the government which is not in the favor of the people, they urge the government to stop this policy because this is not in the favor of the common people. Sometimes this opposition party also kept sharp eye on the various activities of the government. If there is no opposition party, then government can do anything with the peoples of the common peoples of the country. And because of these opposition parties, government can't do anything which is not in the favor of the people. So whatever the decisions taken by the government is all in the favor of the common people because of the pressure of this opposition party. And then other important point is there. This opposition party is able to give they put the demand before the government to fulfill the demand of the common people. Many things are there which is not which is not fulfilled of the people still now. So this opposition party asks the government to solve the problems of this country or in a particular area. This helps the government to work properly throughout the country. And then they also mobilize the people to in favor of them by doing various type of the movements or by engaging in various type of the activities. These opposition parties can also attract the people towards them, so that in near future after election they can also capture the power. You remember one thing, in democracy power is continuously changing. It's not limited to only one party. If one party is there for ruling 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, then without doubt he or she, that particular political party may leave the power one day. And then another party which is in the opposition still now came to the power. So in democracy, power is continuously changing from one hand to another hand. Now next things that we have to know, alliance or coalition government. Now what is alliance or coalition government? You remember one thing, in a big countries like India, it is not possible for the one political party to gain absolute majority every time. So what happened in that case, as India is full of the various type of the caste, creed, many types of the peoples are there, and all peoples don't support one particular party. So when one particular party unable to get the full majority, they take the support of the other parties and they form the government, which is known as coalition or alliance government. For example, one thing I said that in India, as you all know, the number of the member of the parliament is 543. So for capturing this power, to coming into the government, so one political party must need to win the seats of above 272, at least 272 or more. If you don't get the 272 seats into the election, then you can't you can't come into the power. So to get, you have to manage these 272 seats. Now, after election, we have seen that one party get 240 seats. So he is lack of more than 30 seats. So now how he will come to the power? At that time, he took the support of the other political parties, maybe some regional political parties or some other national parties, and with their help, this government can make into the support of into the government. If the other political parties don't support their particular parties, then with 240 seats he can't come to the power. So he needs the support of the other political parties. So with this support, he came to the political power. Now, why this alliance government and or the coalition government get importance at presently? Earlier there is lack of the political parties, so one party get absolute majority. But now in India there is various political parties are there, and all have their different aims and objectives, and people support them. So, due to these reasons, the one political party failed to get absolute majority in country. So, at that time, they need to take the help of the other political parties. In India, alliance groups are basically divided into two parts. One is NDA and another one is UPA. NDA means National Democratic Alliance, which is led by the BJP. Under him, many parties who support their thinkings, their likings, they came and support them. And another one is UPA, which is the main leader of the UPA is Indian National Congress. And under him, this UPA, many political parties are there which support them, which likes their thinkings, they support them. So in this way, this coalition government or the alliance government work with the support of the other party. Now, first coalition government of India was set up in alliance, or first coalition government was started in India in 1977 under the prime ministership of late Morarji Desai. He was the first prime minister of coalition government. He formed the government with the support of the other political parties. But he can't run for a long time, and very soon these political parties, this alliance was get collapsed. Now, in the case of the coalition government, when you take the support of the other political parties, government should keep constant eye to fulfill the demands of the other political parties. Because when I support, for example, I have a political party with 10 MPs, so I support a particular party into the center. So when I support, I must always see my need, my aspirations. I also need to fulfill my dreams, my people's aspirations. So I give constant pressure on the government, and sometimes there is some chaos happened, and if the government is unable to fulfill my demand, then I may withdraw the support from the government. So at that time the government get minority, they don't have the support of the majority, so the government may get collapsed. So in this coalition government, one thing has to remember, that government has to keep satisfying all its alliance parties. If they don't keep satisfying them, then they may be withdraw the support from the government. Now next point is the demerits of the alliance government. So first demerits of the alliance government is unstable and short-lived. This alliance government may be short-lived. If other political parties' aspirations and needs are not fulfilled, they can withdraw the support from the government at any time. And at that time, the government may turn into a minority. So government lost its credibility. Another one is weak government. Yes, there is more than 5-10 political parties join together and make a government. So there is continuous pressure from the various political parties, and they never want to lose their existence before the people. So they give constant pressure on the government. So because of this reason, the government is weak. The government is unable to take bold decisions which is in the favor of the people. And another one is that ambitions of the member parties. Yes, as I told you, that government has to keep constant eyes of the various ambitions of the various political parties. And then threat to the national interest. Sometimes these regional political parties try to fulfill their interest of a particular area. So this creates a national threat, because other areas will get discriminated. So they may also start movement at that time. So this is a very tough for any party to run the coalition government. And another one is expensive. So this coalition government is very much expensive. The facilities got by the Prime Minister, these facilities can also be demanded by the other party leaders. To satisfy them, government give them these facilities. So it ultimately increase the expense of the government property and government money, which ultimately give pressure on the common people of a country. So these are the various demerits of the alliance government. But this alliance government is very much some merits also. This alliance government has some merits also. These merits are 5 merits are there. We will discuss now. The first one is situational. So this alliance or coalition government is very much situational. It is the need of the time. After one election, it is not possible to do another election because it costs a huge number of money and expense will go higher. So at that time, with the support of the other parties, one party can form the government and they run the administration or run the government for the next 5 years. So this way it reduced the pressure on the people and it can save a huge money from conducting an election. Now another one is non-autocratic government. So second merits of the alliance government is non-autocratic. It can this government can never be autocratic. If single party government is there, this party can maybe turn into an autocratic government, then can never listen to the common people. But due to the alliance government, they have to listen to the other political parties also. Otherwise, their government can collapse. Otherwise, the government may get collapsed. So, because of this reason, this government can never be turned into the autocratic, and they can always support the others. So, this government always take the decision in favor of the common people. And another one is regional representation. In this alliance government, we see that many regional parties are also participated into the government. So, because of this reason, from all areas, many regional parties come with the 5 MPs, 6 MPs, 2 MPs, 5 MPs, 10 MPs like this. They give support. Without their support, government cannot reform. So, when they also get their representation in the central, they can fulfill the demands of the particular area, so that no particular area can be get discriminated. All area will get properly developed. Without and no particular area can remain into the stack. So all people will get equal benefit of the government from the government. And the next one is safeguarding national unity in integrity. This coalition government also helps to save our national unity and integrity. With this support of the various political parties, government can safeguard the national interest. With the support of the regional political parties, when a government formed a government, no region can gain the movement in favor of independence. Sometimes we have seen in our India also happen. Many regional areas want their separate independent countries, separate independent state. But when the political party of that particular region was on the government and they support the government, this type of movement was not happen, because they give support and they also give the development. When the people get the facilities of the various schemes of the government and when the development was take place, no one can want independence. So these are the another merits of alliance government. And the last merits of the alliance government is reducing the misuse of the public money. So when after conducting an election, we know in conducting an election huge number of money is needed. So if continuous election is conducted, then it will give a threat to the nation. So after one election, when many political parties come together and form the governments, it reduced the expense of the public money. It reduced the expense of the public money. People also come and also can work live in a steady situation. Otherwise, if continuous election is happened, then it will not a good sign for the country, and a country may got collapsed. So by this coalition government, people's money is also saved in huge number. So these are one of the merits of the coalition government. So guys, today up to this, I think you have understand this chapter. If you have any doubts and question, you can ask me personally in my WhatsApp numbers or by calling. So all of you have this my numbers. So today after this, thank you, and remember one thing, due to COVID-19 pandemic is going on and due to which your school is closed. So I request all of you, remain stay at home and follow all the instructions which is given by the Ministry of Health Affairs from the Government of India. Follow all the instructions and remain stay at home and always study. Keep concentration on your study. So up to this, thank you.